they aren't direwolves, but they still made it onto the cover of Time. I'm not going to deny it, I lost the will to make videos for a while. So what's changed? Well, I accepted that there's no point in running a channel about wolves if you don't want to talk about the bad stuff, and that's pretty much all there's been. So now I've finished moving house, let's unpack. And by unpack, I mean unpack everything this past year has thrown at us, one video at a time. This is going to be a bit more emotionally charged than usual, so feel free to join in and write some angry comments. Okay, let's start with an easy story. The direwolf de-extinction announcement. Now, unless you've been living under a rock the size of a small country, you'll already know all about Colossal Bioscience's claim of resurrecting the direwolf, and hopefully thrown your phone out the window in frustration at how such a blatant lie received so much media attention when we're actually exterminating the not extinct grey wolf. That's another story anyway. We'll get to that in a bit. These animals were born in October last year, and the Texas-based You'll remember the Texas-based You'll remember the Texas-based company recently revealing to the world the birth of 3 pups by a domestic dog mother. If you want to learn about the exact process called somatic cell nuclear transfer, check out my video here on a previous wolf cloning program in Korea, which also might have involved human cloning. Long story short, they look a lot like direwolves from Game of Thrones, which is apparently some TV show. My friend has a part in it, although I've never watched it. Thing is, they aren't direwolves, because the show used a mixture of domestic dogs and captive wolves that were digitally enlarged. In real life, direwolves not only looked like badly drawn grey wolves, they also diverged from a shared ancestor with them about 6 million years ago. Although Colossal Biosciences did manage to get their hands on real direwolf DNA, it was way too degraded to actually put to any use in cloning. Instead, they identified key genetic markers in it, and then changed the corresponding sections of grey wolf DNA to more closely resemble that of the direwolf. From about 19,000 genes, they determined that 20 changes in 14 of them would produce a direwolf. The result is grey wolves, albeit with larger heads, white fur, what look like thicker legs and possibly a slightly more massive body, but they still made it onto the cover of Time. Colossal Foundation, which just seems to be a copy-pasted version of the company's media face tailored to conservation, has also been promoting the extinction as a way to save the critically endangered red wolf by using something called ghost alleles in present-day canids, basically fragments of the original red wolf genome that were mostly lost in the 1970s when the species was being captive bred back from extinction, and our knowledge of genetics wasn't as good as it is now. This is another matter entirely, and although their intentions to reconstruct the original red wolf genome seem well founded, my skepticism is at such an all-time high that I'm going to leave it for another video when there's more progress to show for it, and from everything I've seen for other organisations that I know, it's not good news. On the day I'm making this video, Colossal announced that yes, they did create grey wolves with modified genes, but stressed that they never tried to hide this fact. Beth Shapiro, their chief science officer, said in an interview that they were only colloquially called direwolves, and that makes people angry, because apparently we don't have the right to be. She went on to say that we call them direwolves because they look like direwolves and reflect the key traits we found in sequencing their genome. Mean all 20 of them? So if it looks like an inaccurate pop culture representation of the direwolf with little actual basis in taxonomy, they're free to call it a direwolf. And I'm free to call this a tree, because it shares many of the same chemical properties. If you'd like a tree of your own, follow the link below and help me raise money for wolves that aren't yet extinct. But seriously, this is one of the lighter stories that I'm going to be covering in the next couple of weeks. there's a lot to get through, and there's very little that's good. There is a good video that's going to be coming up, and I look forward to sharing that with you. Unfortunately, there was going to be about 3 sort of wholesome videos that I was going to finish this sort of series off with, but 2 of them turned out to be cursed instead, so yeah, good luck. Oh my god. For those of you who didn't know, I've recently moved over to the Midwest USA, and it's nice. I like this country. I'm still looking for a job at the moment because it turns out that for some reason conservation work in the United States is just not as popular as it used to be a few years ago. I have no idea why. Yep, until then, as always, remember to understand, coexist, and evolve. Even if it feels like nobody else in the world is. Still counts. See you then.